So this is part 2 of the tutorial for completing Word project number 1. And where we got to in part number 1 is downloading the files and especially doing the save as, making sure that the file has the same name, the start file has the same name as what I downloaded it with, only with _2. Remember, if you don't do that, it will not let you upload. Going back to the instructions, the next instruction, what I like to do, by the way, is when I'm done with an instruction is to highlight it and to mark it with like a yellow highlighter, like just for me, so I know it's done. And then the next one is, with that file still open, ensure that your first and last name are displayed in the footer. This is another way for them to make sure that it's your own individual work, that students are not just, sharing projects, that it's yours. Because if I was a student, here it is. You see when I scroll down, this is called a footer. It's grayed out because it's not, available for you to edit. And it has my name on it, the way I'm registered in MindTap. And between the name of the file and the footer, it'll know that it's me. So going back to the instructions. Again, you see me switching here on Mac under the window. On Windows, it's going to be down here, just hovering over the Word icon. It'll show you 2 windows with the 2 open documents. You can see that also, by the way, in the training. So I have made sure that this is correct, and make sure you read what they say. If the footer does not display your name, delete the file, download a fresh copy. Don't waste your time because it won't accept it when you're done. And finally, we can start the project steps themselves. They always have like a cover story around it. It's basically, all the projects are documents that are kind of half done, and they want you to change a few things about them, complete them, polish them, and so on. So supposedly you're the member of a human resources department and this insurance company, and you're creating a flyer. And here comes the first actual thing to do. Begin by changing the orientation to portrait, so the page is no longer so the page is longer than it is wide. So right now it is landscape, and they want to change it to portrait. I'm changing back to the document, and that is done under the Layouts tab. I click Layout, and right here, the second button is Orientation. Portrait. Save. Now I can save either if it's Windows Control S, if it's Mac Command S, or if I want to use the menu, it's File Save, or there's an icon here that looks like an old floppy disk. Save. I would recommend saving every step of the way. There's no such thing as saving too much, only regretting saving too little. Going back to the instructions. It seems like I have completed step number 1. Step number 2, by the way, for this assignment, there are 16 steps. Change the document margins to narrow. That is done very close to where we've done the previous step. So under Layout, under the Layouts tab, there's a command. There's a button called Margins, and I click it, a menu drops, and they got all kinds of settings. One of them is called Narrow. That's the one they want. Narrow. Save. In all those assignments, it's really important to follow what they want to the letter, because there's no opinion here. There's no flexibility. Either you completed the assignment or you don't, exactly the way they want it to. Let's go back to the instructions, and I will mark this as done. Step number 2. Number 3, some of the steps have sub-steps like A and B. Here's one of them. Format the heading paragraph, Health and Wellness at Browne Insurance as follows to make it stand out. And they want us to do 2 things. So what I would first do is go, okay, where is this thing? Here it is. It's this. So I will highlight. My habit, by the way, is to click, hold, and drag and highlight things from the back, from the end backwards. I can also highlight from the beginning forward. Doesn't matter. It does highlight a little space after that. That's fine. And I know it's funny that they call it a paragraph, but every time there's a line break, technically it's a paragraph, but it is a heading. Going back to the instructions, what do they want me to do with this heading? Apply the text effect, fill black, text color 1, shadow. Now this is a lot to remember. So first of all, where do I find text colors, text effects? It's in the Home tab, and we'll go there in a second. But it's easier to find that to remember that once I do find this effect, it's going to be on the first column, first row. In other words, it's the first effect out of that typography gallery. So where do I find that? I go back to the document itself, back to the Home tab, and the text effects, it's not a text color or a highlight, it's text effects, are found right here. If I hover over an icon, it tells me what it is. I click, and just like they said, it's the first one on the first row, first column. When I hover over it, it tells me its name, fill black, text color 1, shadow. Click. And as you can see, it changed a bunch of things. It changed the font to be a little more bold and so on. Save. So that was step 3A. And I can mark that as done. And then they want step 3B, which is to shade the heading using aqua accent. I can never remember this. These are, very complicated names. Much easier for me to remember that it's the 8th column, 3rd row in the themes, colors, palette, shading, color. So where do I find shading? Again, I go back. It's still selected. And I can find shading right here. When I roll over this is going to be in a different group. The icon looks like a paint bucket. Don't confuse shading with highlighting. They don't want you to highlight the text. They want you to shade the whole paragraph. So again, I always forget what color they want me to use. Let's read again. 8th column, 3rd row. Okay. Click to open the gallery. 8th column, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3rd row, 1, 2, 3. Aqua accent 4, lighter 60%. Click. Notice how when I click somewhere else, it highlighted the whole width of the paragraph. So now I can go back to the instructions and mark this as done. And I'll save this one as well. Step number 4, in the paragraph beginning Crest Insurance offer, blah, 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 delete the unnecessary sentence that says all you need to do is sign up and that interests you. So it starts with all and ends with you, and they want me to delete it. So here it is. I highlight that sentence, make sure that it's only what they want me to delete, and on the keyboard I hit the delete button. Backspace, same thing. And make sure that there's no extra space here. Good. Save. Back to the instructions. That was step number 4. Step number 5, apply the simple frame black picture style to the picture of the healthy foods so it coordinates with the rest of the flyer. So they have a picture here, and they want simple frame black. So right now it has no frame or anything. One click on the picture should open a tab, or at least give me access to a tab called Picture Format. I click it, and there's all kinds of styles. There's like a gallery of styles. On the Mac, to open the gallery, there's a button here at the bottom center. If this was Windows, this same like open button would be at the bottom at the bottom right, but in any case, I'm opening this, and there's all kinds of styles I can apply. In this case, they're not telling me what column or row, so I have to like roll over them to find what looks like a simple frame black. Does this look like simple frame black? No, it's a simple frame white. So this one, not moderate. This one, not thick. Let's see, where's the simple frame? Black. It's got to be one of simple frame black. Just found it. Make sure that even though there are much prettier ones, choose the one they ask you to do, because it's, you know, the assignments are about following instructions. Click, and it gave it this thick frame with a tiny little bit of drop shadow around it and so on. Save. Cool. Next step. Back to the instructions. That was step number 5. Let's do one more step before we go to another before we break this to another video. To call attention to the heading paragraph 5 steps to a heart healthy diet, format the paragraph as follows. Left align the paragraph. So the paragraph is called 5 steps. So here it is, 5 steps. I'm highlighting it, making sure I'm not highlighting anything else. And in the Home tab is the alignment. By the way, if this happens, you just double click and it opens again. And here's the alignment, left align. The next thing they want me to do here so left align is done, is to change the font to Corbel headings. So while it's selected, I'll make sure it's selected. Fonts are right here, and Corbel headings should be one of the first available ones. And here it is. Just make sure there are 2 Corbels, one for headings, one for body. They want Corbel for headings. And it changed the font. Save. The next step, so we've done B. The next step is to change the font size to 16. So again, while it's still selected, font size 16. Everything that has to do with fonts is usually in the Home tab. And last thing they want me to do in step number 6, so I changed it to 16 points, is to change the font color to Aqua Accent 4, 8th column, 1st row in the colors palette. So the colors for the fonts are right here. The gallery is right here. 8th column, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Click. That's the color they want. Save here and go back to my instructions. And step number 6 is done. Let's do step number 7 before we cut to another part of the video. That way we're pretty much halfway done. Now they want me to use the format painter to apply the same formatting to the paragraphs nutrition and fitness. Look at this. There are 2 more headings. Here it is, nutrition and fitness, and they want them to look the same as this. So instead of doing all those 4 steps again, there's a great tool called the Format Painter, and it's pretty much like a copy paste. And instead of copy pasting text, it copy pastes the look. So I will highlight what I want to copy from, and I'm going to go to this tool called the Format Painter. It's in the Home tab, very close to the left. Format Painter, and then all I have to do is click, hold, and pretty much brush over what I want to give this to. See, and it applied the whole, everything, the font, the size, the color, everything. I can't do this again to this one. I have to go back, sample it again, paint, take the paintbrush and brush over the second one and save. There's a very good tutorial in the trainings, in training Word module 1 on how to do this. But for right now, I'm just clicking save, and that was step number 7. Let's do one more because the recording seems to be going really well. Going back to the instructions, and we just did step number 7. Step number 8 feels pretty easy. Bold the text Tuesday at noon after the 5 steps heading to use some formatting, the same formatting as the other days and times. So Tuesdays at noon, see how Wednesday is bolded and Friday is bolded. They want Tuesdays at noon to also be bolded. So I will highlight B for bold under the Home tab, click, and it's bold. Save. I'm going to stop this video and I'll see you in part 3. We'll pick up from where we left off here.